stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part one of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, also American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
I'm standing on a rooftop looking out over London. Off to my left, far away in the distance, I can see just that faint, red, angry snap of anti-aircraft bursts against this steel blue sky. About 5 minutes ago, the guns in the immediate vicinity were working. I was up here earlier this afternoon and looking out over these housetops, looking all the way to the dome of St. Paul's. I saw many flags flying from staffs. No one ordered these people to put out the flags. They simply feel like flying the Union Jack above their roofs. No one told them to do it, and no flag up there was white.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. I hope, indeed I pray, that we shall not be found unworthy of our victory if after toil and tribulation it is granted to us. For the rest, we have to gain the victory. That is our task. Let us therefore brace ourselves to our duty, and so bear ourselves that if the British Empire and its commonwealths last for 1,000 years, men will still say, this was their finest hour.
We shall not fail or falter, we shall not weaken or tire. Neither the sudden shock of battle nor the long-drawn trials of vigilance and exertion will wear us down. Give us the tools, and we will finish the job.
We shall go on to the end. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength. We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
I'm out on my own, walking the streets. Look at the things that I meet. I feel like I want to go home. What do I feel? What do I know? But I still believe. I still believe through the shame and through the grief, through the heartache, through the tears, through the waiting, through the years. For people like us, in places like this, we need all the hope that we can get. Oh, I still believe.
Are you awake? Are your eyes not open? Do you not see the injustice that's being woven Does your mind not despair when innocents are jailed? Do you not see what I see when my eyes feel impaled? When justice is not served equally among all? Do you not tremble with anger, wishing the system to fall? When the social contract is broken, the authorities we cannot trust, what should we do? I don't know. But it's something we must. Should we learn our lessons and not make a fuss? Should we point and throw rocks at Tommy and just be glad it's not us? Do you feel what I feel? This great weight of mine. Cries from past generations reverberating through time. Great men who stood up and sacrificed their all, their comforts, their family, their lives. For us they did fall. I hear them crying out, and I'm ashamed of what we've become. These giants whose shoulders we stand on, and of whom we are the sum. Stand up and fight, they say from their grave. Give your all for Queen and country. Give what we gave. Ask again. Are you awake? Are your eyes open? Do you see this injustice that's just been proven? How angry are you? What are you prepared to do? Or will you wait and only speak up when it affects you? Are you awake? Are your eyes not open? Or tremble with anger, wishing the system to fall? Do you feel what I feel? And I'm ashamed of what we've become. Stand up and fight. Stand up and fight.
Wow. Is that powerful or what, guys? Yeah, we decided to play that just after the intro of the show this evening. Very, very powerful. Anyway, good evening and welcome to the English Defence League radio show, broadcasting live on blogtalkradio.com. The English Defence League radio show, the truth and the voice of the EDL. Tonight, the show title is English Defence League Radio Show, Belmarsh Prison Demo and Debriefing. Welcome to the English Defence League Radio Show with your host, Jeb Spider Mitchell, and Dave Agador Milner is my panellist for this evening. Janet Tornado Rennie will join us when she's able. Tonight, we'll be debriefing at the demonstration held yesterday at HMP Belmarsh, the high security lockup where political prisoner Mr. Tommy Robinson is currently being illegally held. Let the cowards in power know that we will carry on Tommy's good works. No surrender ever. Otherwise, Tommy Robinson updated details at news, http www.cr.news. All that's necessary for evil to prevail is that good men do nothing. That was by the late great Edmund Burke. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. And that, of course, was by the late great President John F. Kennedy. Without further ado, let me pass it to my to my colleague and my panelist and my wingman tonight, Mr. Dave Agador Milner. Good afternoon, good evening, Dave. I hope you are well.
Yeah,
Thanks
good evening to you. Yeah, good evening to you, Jeff, and good evening to everybody in the UK, and a good afternoon to everybody in the States, and hello to everyone else around the world, and, of course, off Earth. Yes, we've got quite a show today, Jeff. We did want to start with that poem. I'll tell you guys that I almost made an opening out of that, but it's getting to the point where I want to make an opening out of everything, but still, you may hear that as an opening in future. But one of the things I want to say, Jeff, before read off a little bit of information out of the script, which we will have until just a bit before Tommy Robinson is released, is one of the things that struck me in that poem was talking about how people don't rise up and say anything or do anything because what's going on doesn't immediately affect them. And there was an interview that Tommy Robinson had with a Scottish gentleman on his show not too long ago, and that guy was saying almost the same thing. He said, "Well, I'm not seeing those things that you're talking about," and it again reminded me of something that a friend of mine over here in the States said. When I was during the Obama administration, when I was talking about all the skullduggery going on back then, he said, "Well, I'm not saying anything about it particularly because it doesn't affect me." Well, the fact is, people, that whatever it is, it affects you sooner or later. It gets to you. History shows us this. I mean, in the context of today's program, right now it's Tommy Robinson. But tomorrow it could be you. I mean, there have already been numerous examples of people on the left who have put one toe wrong out of their lane and had it chopped off and had to spend like half a year apologizing in order to be allowed back in their own lefty community. This is the tyranny that is going to affect everybody. All right, and that's the reason for the poem. That's the reason that people want to do things, and for people to stand up and tell the truth, because this will get around to you. Even if you're on the left and you hate Tommy Robinson's guts, don't think that this won't come around to you, because every time in history that something like this has been started, doesn't matter. Soviet Russia, Nazi Germany, Communist China, every time something like this gets started, it always comes back around to affect everybody. And oftentimes it's nasty. Am I right, Jeff?
You certainly are, Dave. That is true words spoke there, because that's how it is. See, a lot of them live in total denial, or they don't really care. If you look at the left side of things, most of them want total anarchy. They don't want to be governed by anybody, but they don't seem to realise that they want their freedoms to do this and do that. They are pretty stupid people, because all what is happening at the moment is their so-called freedoms will be taken away from them as well. What they just think it's going to affect people that speak out against these things. Do they think it's not going to affect them? Because it affects everybody. But they don't seem to understand that, or they're just too stupid to understand. Once they start attacking your freedoms and taking your freedom away, throwing journalists in prison of trumped-up charges, then your time of freedom and hoping that you'll be able to achieve something with your left-wing thinking, those days will come to an end, because it won't be like that whatsoever. That's just your dream. Your dream won't ever come true. It's people like ourselves who speak out against it. We're the ones that suffer all the crap that's thrown at us from you, your side, and every side. But we still stand our ground because it's the right thing to do. It's definitely the right thing. It's a righteous thing to do. But as I say, these people are like the ostriches, living with their end buried in sand and hoping that it'll all calm down. They don't even realise that things are heating up. It's not things are not going to cool down. You might throw quite a few of us in prison. The same thing that happened to Tommy could happen to a lot of us. Do you think you can silence us by doing things like that? All you do is strengthen our cause. So that's what's happening. We'll be such a force to reckon with that you won't be able to pretend that we're not there because the noise will be too much for you. We'll be a army of people, and you will soon know that is coming. That's here now, isn't it, Dave? That's the way I look at it. I was just amazed at the demo yesterday of how many people had turned up at a very short timing, really, within 48 hours. As I say, on the Friday, there was a guy that was outside Belmarsh who was protesting. Come Saturday evening at 6 o'clock that evening, there was hundreds of people there. I mean, it's hard to actually speculate how many people were there. But something I'd like to throw out there, anybody that's maybe pilots their own plane or something like that, maybe you can make a banner up and fly it behind your plane on behalf of Tommy and the cause. And that will be, especially over Belmarsh Prison, something like that. Do it. Publicise it. And that's how the message gets out. That's how the world sees these things. So things like that you can do. It's not going to disrupt anything. A little bit of airspace with a free Tommy, political prisoner, 2019. Something like that. Pretty sweet and simple, and have it sailing from the plane, isn't it, Dave? It's been done before. I think they've done it in Australia before, Dave. I think it's so. Tommy was last away. I think Avi and a few others set something up. So it's just my way of thinking. Also, who was there was Ross Kemp. Now, you've probably heard of Ross Kemp, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, anybody that lives this side of the pond, he used to be in EastEnders. He was one of the Mitchell brothers, if you remember right. He's the one. He does all these documentaries, hardcore documentaries. But anything if anybody thinks that probably we speak kindly of Tommy, don't forget, that the media don't speak kindly of Tommy, whoever it is. So don't expect him to do anything different to what the mainstream media is. Part of the mainstream media, so don't get your hopes up, guys, because he was there. He was doing a documentary. It was coincidental he was there doing a documentary when Tommy was sent to Belmarsh on Thursday. It's just amazing coincidence, Dave.
Well, and also, Jeff, I want to just say real quick that if people want to see, unfiltered by him, what was said between this gentleman and Danny Tomo, there are videos out there on Gab and in other places. Folks, if you get on Gab and go to BritFam, I'm sure you'll find it. I saw it there a couple of times, posted a couple of times. So, and who knows? We may actually take the audio from that and play it on this show, just so that we have an unfiltered version of what was said, and not something that was cut up and put on a studio floor and jacked up to make Tommy Robinson and the movement look bad. But Jeff, I have to say that I did watch the great coverage of the demo, and I mean, to say that it was a perfect demo may be a bit of a stretch, but not by much. I mean, they were very respectful of the prison and what the prison's procedures. They did not want the prison to put everybody on lockdown because they didn't want that to reflect badly back on Tommy Robinson. There was some chanting, there was a little bit of singing. They set off some fireworks. It was Jeff, from my side of the pond, looking at it. I thought it was a very good demonstration. Myself, and as far as I know, no arrests, nobody got hurt. I think it came off quite the success. Yeah,
I think it did as well. And also we must mention that Tommy, Danny, sort of said a prayer, and I thought that went down very well.
Yes.
So that was really good, and it surprised me a little bit because I didn't know if they could do something like that. But it pleased me, and I know any of the listeners or callers out there listen to that. If you feel the same way as I did, I thought it was really, really respectful and very thoughtful. It was great. It was a great demo. There was some great people there. Anybody that turned up, it was, they was there for Tommy. That's it. It's not there for anything else but for Tommy, to let him know that even though he's in prison, that he's not forgotten. He can never be forgotten. So I thought it was well done. I think to everybody. Some were concerned because, as I said to you, Dave, there was quite a big influx of Muslims or Somali Muslims in the area. So a few people was concerned about it, but it seemed those people that turned up, weren't worried whatever was nearby and this, that and the other. It didn't look like there was any any type of situation. It was well conducted. People was well behaved. Made a lot of noise, but that's what it was all about, to let Tommy know. Charlie, put your beak away. To let him know that it's what he wanted. If he's in prison, he wanted people to be outside the prison on Saturday. And Danny told me I made sure that happened. So there you go. So it's really good. Charlie's in my head already.
Yeah, well, Charlie, ladies and gentlemen, Charlie is our executive producer, and she does tend to kibitz a little bit during the shows, but we love Charlie. So, it's all good in the hood. Jeff, if you don't mind, I think this is an opportune moment, because we're just about at the top of the hour. The show is going by really fast. To play our SHR Media promos. I just want to tell people who are listening to UBG on EDL on Spreaker.com, the Unpleasant Blind Guy page on Spreaker, that this show is podcast live at 8:30 p.m. British Summer Time and 3:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the United States on both Thursdays and Sundays. So you guys who are listening to this right now from the Unpleasant Blind Guy Spreaker page can always come by and, engage in the chat room and listen to us live at those times here on blogtalkradio.com. And for our blogtalkradio.com listeners, guys, we are now associated with the SHR Media Network as a show, and there are many great programs on the SHR Media Network. And we're going to play you guys a few promos. Check these shows out. These are some really good things really being done in the United States because we are a world community, people. Make no mistake. I'm going to go ahead and play these right now. You're listening to the English Defense League radio show.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunnett. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunnett.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 2. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening, and may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2019. Anno Domini.